people feel like they can just comment whatever the hell they want on your stuff, which I mean they can, but they can also get blocked. They can catch these hands as well.
Welcome back to Glitch and Gloss. Now, before we dive in, we should probably address the elephant in the room, the fact that it's been 3 months since our last episode. I'd love to say I was on a spiritual retreat, but we all know who actually dropped the ball here. Anyway, we're back, and today we're tackling a question that's bound to start a fight. Are gamers the most entitled community on the internet? I'm Maya, and I'm here with Princess to get into it.
All right. Thank you guys for being here with us. This is our second episode, and thank you for that lovely introduction, Maya. Oh, shade was thrown there.
Just a little bit. I had to keep it honest, but now that we've cleared the air on the hiatus, let's get into it. This is a loaded question, so I'll start with you. Do you think the entitlement label is fair, or is the gaming community just a convenient scapegoat for toxic fandom in general?
The gaming community is very entitled. I don't know if the gaming community is the most entitled community there is. That's definitely debatable, but when it comes to being entitled in general, absolutely. I think the gaming community has a lot of work to do.
I'm with you. I think the work is the key part there. It's one thing to be passionate about a game, but there's this weird line where passion turns into a sense of ownership. Like, the moment a developer makes a choice that doesn't align with a specific group's vision, the reaction isn't, I don't like this, it's, you betrayed me. Do you think that comes from the fact that gaming is such an immersive personal experience compared to other hobbies, or is it more about the specific kind of people who have traditionally dominated the space?
Um, I just think it's entitlement, honestly. I feel like everybody expects to be represented in every single piece of media that is ever put out, and that's just not gonna always be the case. And I feel like when everybody is represented in pieces of media, whether it be films or TV shows or video games, I feel like it's gotten to the point where developers or directors or whatever the case may be feel like they have to check a box. So they're adding in all these different types of people and races and you name it, they add it in and they are kind of just trying to check a box because they want to appeal to everybody and not face any backlash rather than just sticking to whatever they genuinely want to do with the story and being authentic with whatever the storyline is meant to be rather than adding in all of these different things to check a box. I don't like that. And I feel like when I play games or when I um, partake in any sort of media, I can tell when things have been added in to check a box to not piss off the masses or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I definitely think it stems from people being entitled and feeling like they have to be represented in every little thing. And I just don't think that's the case personally. I don't think that is what needs to happen. Should there be representation across the board? Yeah. In every single thing? No.
I think you hit on something really interesting there, the difference between authentic representation and box checking. It's kind of ironic because you have one group of people being entitled because they feel they aren't represented enough, and then you have another group being entitled because they feel representation is being forced into a story where it doesn't fit. Both sides
Yeah.
are basically the creative vision be bent to fit their personal expectations. It's like the art becomes secondary to the politics of who's in the frame. When a character feels like they were added by a committee to avoid a Twitter thread rather than a writer to serve the plot, it just feels sterile. It kills the immersion. Do you think that box checking actually makes the backlash worse? Like, does the lack of authenticity just give the toxic side of the community more fuel to claim that the developers are pushing an agenda?
I think it depends on the game and the people who are playing the game. I think there can be backlash regardless. I think there can be backlash if there's not enough representation, whether it's authentic or not. And then if there's representation and it feels like it was just added to check a box, people get upset about that too. And maybe those are two different groups, but I mean, it just speaks even more so to the entitlement of the gaming community that we've been discussing so far.
Right, it's like a lose-lose for the developers. No matter what they do, someone is going to feel slighted. It really reinforces that idea of entitlement, the belief that a game isn't just a product you buy, but something that owes you a specific emotional or social validation. And that entitlement doesn't just stop at the characters, right? It bleeds into how people treat the actual human beings making the game. We see it with review bombing or developers getting death threats over a balance patch or a delayed release date.
Yeah,
In your experience, do you think the gaming community has a harder time separating the product from the person than other fandoms do?
yeah, I definitely do because I mean, I've spoken with um, people who are involved with the making of games, and I had someone from a publisher that I really care about tell me about what they had experience with death threats and things like that when a game didn't turn out how people wanted it to. And I just think it's ridiculous. I don't agree with that at all. I don't feel like anybody should be sending death threats about anything ever. I don't agree with sending like
It's
negative
genu-
stuff to people, anyways. Sorry, what were you saying?
that's genuinely disturbing. The jump from I don't like this game to I hope the person who wrote this dies is an absolute psychotic leap. It's a level of aggression that you don't see as often in, say, a book club or a movie fandom.
Oh,
It
yeah,
feels like there's this
absolutely.
delusional sense of intimacy where players feel like they know the developers, so they feel entitled to treat them like personal enemies when they're disappointed.
Well, the person that I talked to actually said that people showed up to their house, which is ridiculous. Like, it should not be to the point where people feel like they're in danger because of a video game. I think that's insane, honestly, and it's scary as shit.
That is actually terrifying. There's a massive difference between internet tough guy behavior and actually stalking someone to their home. That's not entitlement anymore. That's a complete break from reality. It makes you wonder what's happening in people's heads when they think a digital experience gives them a license to violate someone's actual physical safety. Do you think this comes from the way gaming culture has evolved? Or is it just that the internet provides a shield of anonymity that makes people feel like the real world doesn't have consequences?
I don't know. Honestly, I would probably argue that it comes from the internet because I feel like there were times when we were like younger when games may not have been up to par. I don't know if it was necessarily as bad as they are now sometimes when they release, because growing up, I don't remember any of my games feeling as half cooked when they were released. But I also don't remember people acting that way, and maybe it's because I was younger. I don't know. I mean, how would people have threatened developers? Would they have sent them a mean letter or something? I don't know what would have happened with that, but I just think it's definitely amplified with the usage of the internet, which is sad to say, but people act crazy and do things that I don't think they would have done back in the day, thanks to the internet, unfortunately.
I think you're spot on. Anonymity is a hell of a drug. It strips away the empathy and the fear of consequences. And you mentioned the half cooked games. I think that's a huge catalyst. When a game is released broken and people have already pre-ordered it or spent hundreds of hours anticipating it, that frustration doesn't just stay as a bad review. It turns into a feeling of being cheated. Combine that with a digital mob that they like feeds on outrage, and you get this toxic loop where everyone's just trying to be the loudest voice in the room to prove how betrayed they are. Since we're talking about this half cooked feeling, do you think the rise of live service games, where things are constantly being patched and changed, has actually made the community more entitled because they now expect developers to fix every single tiny grievance in real time?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they're well within their right to feel like things should be fixed, but I feel like with the whole patch culture that we're in, you're not going to be able to fix every single thing in a way that appeases to everybody. So there's always going to be somebody who's upset. But yeah, I definitely think that is part of the issue. Absolutely.
Exactly. It's like these players think they're the lead QA tester and the CEO at the same time. The expectation of a perfect product that evolves exactly how you want it in real time is just a recipe for misery. It creates this environment where developers are essentially playing whack a mole with people's anger. Looking at the bigger picture here, we've talked about the toxicity, the box checking, and the harassment. Do you think it's actually possible to fix this, or is the gaming community just too far gone into this culture of entitlement?
The only way to fix it is for more people to start maybe speaking up about it. But at the end of the day, with people being able to hide behind the anonymity of the internet, they're just gonna keep going. I don't know if it'll necessarily get any better. It might stay the same. It might get worse. I don't see it just stopping completely though at all.
I think you're being realistic. Anonymity is just too powerful a tool for people who want to be miserable. As long as there's a way to scream into the void without facing a real world consequence, there's always going to be a contingent of people who use that power to be toxic. It's sad, but it feels like a structural flaw of the internet itself.
Even with my like content, with content creators or content just in general, people feel like they can just comment whatever the hell they want on your stuff, which I mean they can, but they can also get blocked. They can catch these hands as well. No, I'm just kidding. But I noticed that people feel really entitled about games that they are passionate about too. Like if you play a game and you don't play it in the way that they want you to play it, or you don't enjoy it to the extent that they did, they get upset about it and they feel like they can comment all of these negative things on your stuff, but that's just not how it works. Like you can comment whatever you want, but people are going to enjoy or not enjoy the games that they play based on how they feel, not based on how you want them to play the game or how you want them to feel about the game. That's not how real life works, you know?
Whether it's a game, a streamer's content, or a piece of art, people treat their passion as a VIP pass to be rude. They confuse being a fan with being a stakeholder. Like, just because you've watched every one of your videos or played every hour of a game doesn't mean you get a seat in the writer's room or a license to be a jerk in the comments. It's
Yup.
that same delusional intimacy we talked about earlier. They feel like they own a piece of you or the project. And the second you do something they don't like, they feel betrayed. It's exhausting.
Wow, that was definitely a full circle moment there. I never thought about it like that. But yeah, basically the same shit. You're right.
It's a pattern. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's just the dark side of digital connection. People forget there's a human on the other side of the screen and start treating creators and developers like vending machines that are supposed to give them exactly what they want when they want it. I think we've hit a really natural landing spot here. Do you want to wrap it up and head to the outro, or is there one last thought you want to throw in?
No, I think we touched on some pretty interesting things. What should we have people comment in the comments below?
Since we talked about that tension between authentic art and box checking, maybe we ask them, well, where they draw the line. Like, when does representation feel natural to you, and when does it feel like the developers are just checking a box? Or, if we want to keep it more general to the entitlement theme, do you think gaming is actually the most entitled community, or is there another fandom that's even worse? That'll definitely get some people fighting in the comments, which is always great for the algorithm. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think I missed. Perfect. Let's go with that. I'll wrap it up and you can take it home whenever you're ready.
uh, Thank you guys for. I feel caught off guard. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys for watching the second episode of Glitch and Gloss. Be sure to comment about one of the things that Maya just mentioned, whether it be if you believe the gaming community is the most entitled community out there, or about the checking boxes when it comes to representation in gaming, media, etc., or something else that we mentioned in this episode. Let us know your thoughts down below.
And we'll be keeping an eye on those comments to see who's actually being reasonable and who's just proving our point today. Thanks for
Yes.
tuning in to the relaunch of Glitch and Gloss. We'll catch you in the next one.
All right. Bye, guys.